This Kick offered me $100 million. Didn't get anywhere, to be honest.
While streamers across the world are jumping on Kick for massive million-dollar deals, some creators have shocked the industry by turning down life-changing offers and staying loyal to platforms like YouTube. What makes someone reject that kind of money? What's really going on behind the scenes? Before we start, make sure to subscribe. Streamer Unfiltered for more powerful stories from the world of streaming. Now, let's get into it. iShowSpeed is one of the largest streamers in the world, and despite being offered a deal with Kick, Speed declined. What were his reasons, and why will iShowSpeed most likely never join a Kick?
Has Kick offered you $100 million?
Has Kick offered me $100 million? Me and Kick, yeah, we did have talks back in like 2023, I think. Yeah, that's when it happened.
Since the deal was this recent, it makes me think that Speed will probably not take a new Kick deal. And anytime soon, Speed hinted that some negotiations took place, but nothing really came out of it.
Yeah, me and Kicks had talks in 2023. Yeah, we did have conversations, but didn't get anywhere, to be honest. Didn't get anywhere.
There are many reasons why this Kick deal probably didn't work out, but overall, it comes down to speculations. However, we can have a more clear picture of what could have happened if we look at the offer Kick gave to Kai Cenat.
The day before the first marathon, Kick called me on the phone. Like, it's all live, going on live. And it was like, yo, we'll give you 60, I think it was like 60 million. I'm pretty sure it was 60. And they were like, if you stream half of the subathon on Kick, and then at the end of the subathon, you reveal that you have to join Kick.
If these numbers are real, Kick really put themselves in a bad spot with their deal with XQC, because when they offered $100 million to XQC, he was past his viewer peak. On the other hand, Kai right now is probably way bigger than XQC ever was. So even though $60 million is a huge amount, it's still 60% of what they offered to XQC. This even prompted a response from Crane Rex.
I saw that it said like 60 mil for the subathon. Just for the record, okay? I know the deal, everyone, I kind of just have to specify it. The deal, right, it wasn't 60 mil for a subathon. It was 22 mil for a year, right? It was 22 mil for a year, and then the first 3 months would be non-exclusive, and then after that, the next 3 months would be exclusive, and the 22 was for a year, right? And obviously that was declined and a little bit more was asked for, but it was nowhere near 60 mil for just a subathon. I really hate getting into that kind of stuff. I hate it, but like when, when people start throwing those numbers around, it like really fucks Kick over. It really fucks us over, right?
But as many of you might have already guessed, Kai Cenat declined this offer.
But I hung up the phone and I realized this is real. I literally got down on my knees and I prayed and I asked God to if this is the right decision that I want to follow my heart, let me just make the right decision here and please let me regret it. Mm-hmm. And chat, I still feel like if I went, I wouldn't be here right now.
The reason I'm making this comparison is because Kai Cenat and iShowSpeed share a very similar audience. They both average a comparable number of viewers. So, does that mean Speed was offered $60 million as well? Not necessarily, but it's reasonable to assume that his potential deal could have been in the same ballpark as Kai's. And let's not forget, Kick is backed by stake. If they really wanted to, they could easily throw an absurd amount of money at both creators, an offer almost impossible to refuse. But here's where things get interesting. I think Kick is beginning to realize that simply paying massive sums to big streamers might not be as effective as they once believed. As for Speed, he's currently streaming exclusively on YouTube. We don't know if there's any formal deal in place or if one even exists, but if he were to leave, it could potentially hurt his long-term viewership. And honestly, if both Kai and Speed were to join Kick, it could trigger a domino effect, leading tons of other streamers to follow, trying to ride the wave. So it raises a bigger question. Why are streamers even worth so much to these platforms?
Why do you think there's so much money in streaming? Like, why are they giving that big of a bag to these creators?
It's 2024 now. Streaming is, it's the shit. This is a new era, and streaming is on top of that. And I'm glad to be part of that. I'm glad to be part of streaming really taking over. Streaming is taking over a lot of companies and businesses. So to be a part of that right now and be one of the tops, to be the top, it feels amazing.
Streamers have the strongest connection with their communities, mainly because of the sheer amount of time they spend together. A typical YouTuber might engage with their audience through a 20-minute video, but a streamer, they go live for hours every single day. That kind of consistency builds familiarity. It builds trust. Over time, viewers start to feel like they know the streamer personally, and that's powerful. It's what makes it so much easier for streamers to influence buying decisions and promote products. Of course, this dynamic, known as a parasocial relationship, can become problematic if it goes too far. But when handled responsibly, it's incredibly valuable. And brands know this. Even Speed himself has acknowledged just how powerful that connection really is.
Why do you think that is? What's going on in the culture?
Now, to that question, I feel like the main answer to that is the fact that we are always interacting with our fans. We are always interacting with our supporters. We're talking to them, updates on our life, the traditional way, like an artist, the only time they're talking to their supporters and fans is when they at a concert or an actor. To be honest, an actor, I feel like the actor, the only time they're interacting with their fans is maybe at a convention or something. I don't even know when they interact with their supporters. But as a live streamer, we have such a close connection with our supporters and fans that's what makes live streaming so the thing now. Every day we're talking to them. Every day we're always there.
Now, streaming isn't exactly a new concept, but it's evolved. Over time, streamers have figured out how to be more engaging, more entertaining, and honestly, more demanding. To be fair, I truly believe streamers have a much tougher job than YouTubers. When you create YouTube videos, you can plan, script, edit, and optimize everything. You don't need to be on camera all day. But streamers, they don't have that luxury. In the world of streaming, the rule is simple. The longer you're live, the more you grow. That's why so many streamers go live for 8, 10, even 12 hours a day, just to keep farming viewers. What's more interesting is how Speed recently broke down his entire content ecosystem. And honestly, I didn't even realize he had that many channels.
How do you think about your YouTube channels? Can you break down those different channels, how many subscribers they have?
My main channel has 33 million. Live Speedy has, I might be wrong, I think 12.4 million. Speedy Boykins, my clips channel, has 2 million. And I have another channel, it's called Speed Universe. I think it just hit 2 million or 3 million.
Now, let's be honest. It wouldn't be a proper podcast without a little controversy. And sure enough, not long after discussing Kick, Speed was asked how he chooses his sponsorships. His response? Honestly, it was pretty hilarious.
But I really try to take it at my own pace when it comes to deals, what feels right, always what feels right. That's what I try to do when business and deals come along.
It's sure Speed learned a lot in the past few years, but I really hope this wasn't his mindset when he accepted to stream for the Paradox coin.
In what started as a live stream to meet Cristiano Ronaldo and give away PS5s quickly turned into a nightmare after fans realized the meetup was fake and was being used to promote a scam. Literally, they used a fake Cristiano Ronaldo who couldn't play soccer and was wearing a Buy Paradox crypto coin t-shirt. And it got so bad that Speed had to mute himself to try to figure out how to salvage the situation. The only problem is he forgot to fully mute the mic.
But what do I do now?
Bro, that's been an LCM.
One thing's certain, the future of streaming isn't just about who gets paid the most, it's about who owns the culture. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Should Speed ever join Kick, or is YouTube his forever home? And if you're enjoying deep dives like this, smash that subscribe button. We've got more untold stories on the way.